you know, the season ended last year, and Coach and I were talking to the players. You know, from every player we talked to in those meetings was, how do we get back? How do we get back to being up 14 in Game 7, and how do we put that over the top and get to the finals? And we do feel like in the finals we would have had a real good shot at winning that. So most teams as good as this last year actually do win the title. Obviously we didn't do it, we didn't get it done. But even if they don't win that year, more often than not they go on to win in a future year. So we feel we're very confident going in that we've got a great shot. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort by a lot of players. We're going to need new players to step up, but you know we're excited about the season. I mean, we've got players who all season are like, let's get to this day and let's get going. And to be frank, I've had players that aren't like that, but we got some, as they call themselves, dogs that are ready to play, are playing all off season because they love basketball, and now they're ready to play some real games. So you know, let's get started.
Daryl, for years now, and it seems like you've gone after Carmelo every time he's available. What are the 1, 2, 3 things about him that just keep you coming back?
Yeah, I mean, we love talent at the Rockets. I think we have a lot of belief in Coach D'Antoni and his staff that if they get players who have ability, and even if in recent past maybe they've had some bumpy roads where the fit maybe hasn't been good, we feel like our players and our, you know, Chris Paul and James Harden and our coaching staff can really get the most out of guys with talent. So, you know, Gerson and Jimmy Paulus and Eli and everybody, Monty, everybody on our staff, we really look for players who they've got talent in other places that maybe people aren't appreciating, but will work even better when they're here. And that's probably been the main focus with Carmelo. We feel like put in with our great players, we'll get the most out of him.
Michael, which of the challenge?
One of the things people said last year, obviously, you know, you guys were great offensively, but it was the defense that was talked about so much and losing a couple of pieces. Are you confident that defensively you guys can play at that level again this year?
Yeah, we're confident. Obviously, we have to show it, and that's probably the key to. We're going to be good offensively. Even I couldn't screw that up. So defensively, we got to do what we did last year, and we think we were on that track, and we had some great pieces that helped that, and now it's just a lot of hard work and slogging through it and getting us where we were last year.
Mike, how much of the challenge, especially given the expectations that Tillman mentioned and Daryl has mentioned, is to...
Oh, because you guys have never mentioned the expectations.
I seem to be careful.
Okay, yeah.
How much of it is that you are starting over, that you're not in the Western Conference Finals in September and October, and it has to build to the team that you were,
well,
as opposed to
right.
having players think that you just pick up where you left off?
That'll be the first message tonight when we have our team dinner, that you don't start where you left off. You start from the starting line, and everybody thinks they're going to win a title this year. There's 30 teams that are going to try to get it, but and that's probably the hardest thing. Now, it's a little bit easy for us because we didn't win anything. You know, we had a great year, great, but we still should be, and I think we are. If we're not, then we got other problems. But we're as hungry or as hungrier than last year to get this done. So complacency will not be a factor at all. Now, you do have to go through the drudgery of the first practice, the second practice, the 120th practice. You know, you've got to do it. And we have to be sharp, and each day we'll have to build on something. But you know, with our players' mentality and what is at stake and what they want, that shouldn't be a problem.
What about your own expectations? Do you expect the same?
Hey, I'm with them. I mean, I've not won anything, so you know, we felt like we were really good last year, really close. And that feeling is still with us, and we think that if the Houston Rockets can solve the Houston Rockets and play at the highest level that we can play at, we can win.
Mike, do you have a, going into camp, do you have a position, situation in mind for Melo, you know, bench starting, how it will be handled, or does so much of that depend on how things play out in the next month?
Well, you know, I would lie to say, oh, I don't know, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, you have to. You sit around all summer thinking about what you can envision, but I think I'd be foolish also to make it to there. We'll see how it fits. I don't know how they play together, they fit together. We have a great analytics team that will help gut feelings. So we do a lot of it just scientifically that this is the best way to go. And every day now, you know, again, I'll go in today with, oh, that didn't work, you know, this better than this. I don't know how good James is. I don't know how good Marquise Chris is. Will Nene be okay? We got all kinds of question marks. But they usually play out, and you give everybody the best advantage you can in the situations that you can, and then watch. That's why you play the regular season, to get to the end where we're playing the best basketball possible and everybody feeling good about what they're doing. And there'll be some bumps and highs and lows, but I just know that everybody's excited to find that, because we have a lot of talent that want to make it work.
You had Carmelo before. He's a different player now, and obviously the pieces around him are different than the guys you had in New York. How do you envision him fitting in terms of what you like to do with what you have to do now?
Well, the game's changed a little bit since, you know, that was in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So it's changed. Team obviously has changed. You know, we play 1 in, 4 out. So you can call him a 4, you can call him a 3, you can call him a 2. You know, when he has the ball, he's actually a playmaker. So, you know, he's a talented basketball player that will be on the wing with other talented players, and we have to learn how to do that. We have our offense is very simple in the case of, in the sense of great players make great plays, and it's been a great offense because of the talent that we have. He's going to fit in, and then we'll see exactly where and how and when, and see what we have to change up for him, and see what he has to change up for us. But basically, everything that we did last year, the formula that we think really works, will be the same and should be enhanced, and try not to deviate too much to accommodate people. You know, most of it's got to be toward what we do. You know, Chris Paul made that adjustment. Melo will make that adjustment. James Ennis will make that adjustment. All the new guys will make that adjustment. So, again, you know, it's just like USA basketball. If you got a lot of great talented basketball players that want to make it work, and it does not matter what the name is on the back of the jersey, but what counts as Houston Rockets, then we're gonna make it work.
You guys really kind of took off to an even higher level once PJ got in the starting lineup last year. Is the success that you had with him in the starting lineup a major factor in kind of determining how you go forward this year?
Yeah, that you can't discount that. Again, we'll look at everything, and just, you know, you mentioned PJ. You know, it's funny, to me, PJ Tucker is one of the best players in the league. And I know a lot of people go, oh, he was like ranked 80 something. I don't even know what it was. You gotta be kidding me. Here's a guy that plays maybe the best defense in the league. That's half the game right there. He might be the best, if not one of the top 5. Now you got a guy who's shot 40, since he started, 42% from threes, 47 from in the playoffs. Really? I mean, there's a lot of guys shoot better than that. And a guy that will get every loose ball, every chemistry thing, every play he is playing all out. I don't know how we judge people. You know, I'm like, it cracks me up, because what is the criteria of being a great player? That is a great player. He's a great player on our team. Any team, he's a great player with. Now, if you ask him to be James Harden, no, he's not James Harden. But James Harden's not PJ Tucker either. So he's an unbelievable player. So whatever his role is, and whatever everybody's role is, we've got players that will fit with each other and play that role perfectly.
Can PJ and Melo play together as a forward tandem? Do you need to kind of stagger those minutes?
That's something that will work out. I don't know yet, to be honest with you. In a perfect world, you know, I always loved Melo at the 4. Even in New York, I liked it there. We weren't structured in New York to have that, make that possible as much as we could. You know, the analytic numbers will bear that out. We will try that. We will try some, you know, PJ at the 5 and Mel at the 4. We'll play them together 3 and 4. There's a lot of things that we could do. And a lot of it depends on other players also. If the other players step up and they're playing well, then you just got to figure something else out. So again, we've got a lot of levers to pull, a lot of things that we could go to, and that makes this really interesting and fun.
Daryl, could you address how Brandon likes you?
Yeah, so he's going to be out for the training camp and preseason. He has an infection that's clearing up, and then at the end of sort of the preseason, we'll have an announcement then and a reevaluation just to see where he's at that point.
When you say infection in his knee?
Yeah, he had an infection. Yeah. So.
Mike, you mentioned earlier, obviously, how much the game has changed. When you get to this point and you have a team like this with all these guys we're mentioning, James, PJ, Carmelo, is it easier at this point to kind of get everyone to buy into that sort of positionless basketball because of how much the game has shifted?
Without a doubt, I think there's a lot of factors. One is that you have stats and hard evidence that you can show, hey, it's just not, I think this works, It's not one of those deals. They don't have to believe me. They can look and see it. Also, what Golden State has done the last 4 years and how they play and how many games they win a year can also prove it. So the players are looking at this and looking at that, and actually it's a cleaner, more fun game for them even to play that way. So just a lot of good factors on getting them to get everybody all on the same page.
Mike, having played Golden State in a 7-game series, did you learn a little bit more about what it takes to win a series against them?
Yeah, it takes playing really good. I don't know if I learned anything. You know how good they are. You know how. I'm trying to remember how many great players they have. They have so many that so many Hall of Fame guys that they all fit together. And Steve does a great job. So yeah, it's really, really, really hard. Now we figured it out 3 times. We just got to figure it out 4 times, and hopefully we can do that.
Daryl, you say that Carmelo's talent is something that you desire, but it's always more than that with you. Is there something that you saw in his game? Is there an analytics aspect from the last season or 2 when, big picture, it doesn't look like he's playing as well as he's played, but you see him playing well here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen we've had a good track record with our staff of finding guys like Melo who'll do better in our system. I mean, specifically things to call out. I mean, he's always been a very good shooter. Obviously, that's something we value. Another thing is the way teams are guarding us. Often that gets us into isolation. He's always been one of the best isolation scorers in the league, even though obviously that's talked about both good and bad in the league. The reality is based on how a lot of teams guard us, we're going to be in one-on-one play. And he's very good at that, one of the best of all time. So just off the top of my head, those 2 things are going to help us for sure, and maybe much more.